This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
It is 6 p.m. I'll now call to order the March 10th, 2025 meeting of the Easthampton Conservation Commission. This meeting is being recorded. This meeting of the Easthampton Conservation Commission will be conducted in person and simultaneously via remote participation online to the greatest extent possible. Every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so despite best efforts, we will post on the City of Easthampton website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. Should an interruption occur in which the online meeting ends abruptly, both the in-person and online meetings will not be restarted, and all agenda items will be automatically continued to the next scheduled meeting. Are there any public concerns, non-agenda items? Hearing none, we'll move on to public hearings. The first two items on our agenda are on here as reminders, but have already been continued to the April 7th meeting, so we will not be discussing those this evening. Item C is a public hearing for a request for determination of applicability filed by Kleinfelder on behalf of the Easthampton Planning Department at Glen Cove Place for roadway utility and sidewalk improvements within the buffer zone. Do we have someone here to speak to this matter?
Yes, hi, good evening. Thanks for your time. My name is Emma Maraca. I'm with Kleinfelder. We also have Paul Backus here, who is also with Kleinfelder to help out with any technical or design questions that you might have. Our project proponent is here as well, Joanna Stacy. So this is a City of Easthampton project. They're implementing an infrastructure improvement plan for the new city neighborhood. So the overall project area includes, can I share something? Sorry, cut off here, or let's see.
You should be able to share if you'd like, Emma.
Okay, sure, let me do that. All right. Okay. All right, I think it's working. Okay. All right,
Well,
so
just real quickly, in the interest of full disclosure, I'm not involved in this project, but this project is coordinating with the Emerald Place project that Fuss Neal is a part of. So I don't think I have a conflict here, but just stating that for the record.
okay, so the overall project area here, it encompasses 5 streets. Oakdale Place, Dartmouth Street, Exeter Street, Federal Street, and Glen Cove Place. So this neighborhood suffers from narrow roadways, narrow sidewalks that have obstructions. There's limited parking. There's poor draining areas, and just an inadequate drainage system, which leads to concerns about erosion and stormwater management and pedestrian safety within this neighborhood. So the proposed improvements include roadway reconstruction, sewer rehabilitation, and utility upgrades. There are no project activities that are proposed within any Wetlands Protection Act resource areas, but there is a small portion that's proposed within the 100-foot buffer zone of the bank and BVW associated with Mill Pond. And that is the end of Glen Cove Place, where it meets up with Emerald Place. So proposed work within this buffer, I'm going to switch over to a plan sheet here. Okay. So proposed work within the buffer area includes roadway reconstruction. So more specifically in this buffer, the existing roadway will be reconfigured. So the roadway is overall going to be narrowed here. There's going to be curbs installed, and the sidewalk is going to be installed on the north side over here. There's also going to be some associated grading and restoration along the edges of the paved roadway. So this project, it ties into this previously proposed Emerald Place project. So since we had submitted RDA materials a couple weeks ago, there has been a reduction in this project scope due to some coordination that has been done with the Emerald Place project. We had sent a letter discussing that update over to Eva last week on the 5th, I think. So this project previously, in addition to the roadway reconstruction, it included a water main and drainage pipe replacements. Those two items are no longer going to be covered under the new city infrastructure project. They're going to be taken over by the Emerald Place resiliency project. So that's this 8-inch water main replacement that's in the buffer. The Emerald Place project is going to be taking over that work. So the for this project, for our project, the water main work is going to be all outside of the buffer. Same goes with these drainage improvements. Go over to this plan here. So this drain pipe CO 99 and this manhole 37 are going to be installed as part of the Emerald Place project now. So all of the drainage work that's part of the New City Neighborhood project is going to be outside of the buffer zone. So just to restate, so we're all on the same page here, the only work that's going to be done within the buffer zone by this New City Infrastructure Improvement Project is the road reconstruction, which is the pavement reconstruction, the curb installation, sidewalk construction, and associated grading. So it's a small area of impact. It's only about 335 square feet. It's all within the existing road right-of-way. There's going to be no changes to land use or land cover, and there's going to be erosion and sediment controls in place. Yes, and the other items that we had previously proposed are now under the Emerald Place project. Does anyone have any questions about the proposed work or the proposed impacts or the proposed coordination with Emerald Place?
It looks like most of the 335 square feet is within the existing paved road as well. Do you know what the square footage is outside of the existing pavement?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I think most of it is. I know this like gray line is the existing roadway, and it goes up to the vegetation line here. So I think most, if not all, of the work is well, I guess over here. This would be vegetation where the sidewalk is.
Somewhere in the RDA, it states that this project will add 10 square feet of impervious surface.
Yeah.
But does it also take away impervious if you're narrowing the roadway?
So the overall
net gain of 10.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. So overall, the roadway is being narrowed here, but the sidewalk is being added. So there's a net gain of a small amount of about 10 square feet within the buffer.
So the sidewalk will be on both sides of the street. Is that right?
So for this project, it's just putting it in on this side. I believe this is a sidewalk that would be part of if that is a sidewalk, that would be, everything in gray here is part of the Emerald Place project. So this project only is putting a sidewalk in on this northern side.
I don't think there is a sidewalk on the other side currently.
No, there's no sidewalks on Glen Cove currently.
So if they're narrowing the road, okay, so they're narrowing the road and they'll seed it, but it's still a net gain of 10 square feet, even with that, okay.
I did quickly head out to this area if the commission just wants to take a look at what it looks like right now.
Do we have an opinion on how the stormwater, Easthampton stormwater ordinance applies to the work? Like, would the work need a permit under that based on square footage of disturbance possibly, which I think has an acre threshold?
I'm not sure.
Okay, that would be a question that I would have.
So this is like looking up at the project area from Emerald Place. And so this is the side where the sidewalk would go in. Just a little further up. And there's the mill pond. And the pond.
What is the total acreage of disturbance associated with the project, not just in wetland resources?
I'm not sure what the total project disturbance is. To your point about the stormwater ordinance, the project is anticipating needing to go through that process of getting that permitted, but right now we're not really prepared to delve into that and answer questions on that.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you.
So would we be the stormwater authority if they're here now? I assume so, right?
I believe that's true. I imagine that this project, I'm remembering now, I answered this question when you asked it, Commissioner Buttrick, but I imagine that this project might proceed like how the commission handled the cemetery project, where they did come for an RDA and then they later came for a stormwater permit as a separate project. So the commission did issue the stormwater permit, but it was not in conjunction with a positive RDA, with a positive DOA. It was in conjunction with a prior negative.
Okay.
Yep.
So technically, it sounds like most of the work is exempt because pavement repair and resurfacing within the existing right-of-way configuration, if you're not widening anything, so basically within the existing footprint of pavement, is exempt under the WPA. But the shift and addition of the sidewalk technically would not be, which is why I was asking about the square footage there. I would be inclined to say, given that it's already a downward slope of grass that's clearly draining towards the roadway and pond anyways, that it's not effectively changing anything. And so we might be able to argue that there's not any, I certainly don't think there's any significant alteration to conditions.
Yep.
Do others have questions or thoughts?
Just, I was a little mixed up looking at the site locus figure earlier. It looked like there was some limited work going down towards the pond maybe, but maybe that's part of the Emerald Place project and not this project. I'm just trying to get my bearings. I
think all of
So all the gray is Emerald Place.
Up to
Yeah.
here is Emerald.
So it's only that red.
Yeah, I thought there was a little piece going down, but maybe oh yeah, right there. Okay, no, I was misreading the map. Okay. I was misreading that. Okay. That addresses my question.
Any other questions?
So
Not for me.
Okay. I imagine we might have more questions when we get to the stormwater stage, but
Yep.
nothing on wetland resources. Are we ready then to talk about a determination?
There's a couple of comments.
Sorry,
It's okay.
go ahead. Please introduce yourself for the record.
Dave Lupine, it's my son Luke. We just recently purchased the property that is on that Glen Cove coming down that whole side where some of this work is going to be done. Back on the original site, some of the photos you were doing, I think it was the first one, it actually shows where our, within reason where our property pin is, which is out in the middle of the road right now, on one corner of it. And we're in the process of finalizing our plans to build a two-family home up on the upper side closer to Exeter Street. So it's not going to interfere with anything that's going on now. We just wanted to make sure that, there is some drainage that goes through the property in a couple different directions up from, it's a street that goes on there, not Exeter, but yeah, Dartmouth. I think it's Dartmouth, maybe Dartmouth.
Dartmouth parallels Exeter.
Yeah, yes, and it comes down and kind of cuts through, and there's some drainage on the lot that we've already worked with the DPW and trying to locate where they go, and we know everything. So they're outside of our work. We don't have any concern, and we've already, I think, had a good conversation with DPW. If we had to do any alterations in that area, we could figure that out. I don't believe we're in any kind of wetland area or anything like that. Our bigger concern was just basically if there's going to be any serious change to any of the drainage, because we haven't frankly seen any plans for this. The first we've seen the proposal for the work down there. And we just closed on this 2 weeks ago, so it's understandable. And also in conversation, and I don't know if it was just a conversation within the town, I heard that they were looking at maybe doing some kind of a water garden or rain garden structure down in that area before it discharges out to the pond. I don't know if that's just town talk or through things I've heard, but I don't see that on the plan right now. Once again, it doesn't really affect us. This is going to be a two-family home that is basically going to fit in with the rest of the neighborhood, only much newer, obviously. So that's about it.
Yeah, it looked like that corner where the catch basin is, kind of in the bottom left corner of the screen, is part of the Emerald Place project and that she's talking about. So that'll be the.
And I guess the only other question I had, and maybe the designers can tell, but the land that's actually going to be when they change the radius of the road down there to put it more into a traditional road radius, there's a lot of asphalt. So there's going to be some land that's going to be basically taken out of asphalt and reseeded in grass. And I've tried to find out if that's land that's going to be still within the cities right away, because it's very hard to find information about where road layouts really exist out there just because of the nature of the place. Or is that something that's going to be deeded back to our piece of land? Don't know, but just a question I have.
Yeah, the deeding would not change. So whatever wherever the pins are now is where they would be. The right of way would not change, but it might convert from asphalt to grass, or it may be, it's a strange configuration right now. So there may be some overlap where it's possible that some of that asphalt is on your property outside of the right of way, but it's a strange,
I guess
strange setup.
The reason I brought it up was more of the idea about that water garden type, because if they came right in the area that looks like it would work, it would definitely probably come onto our property in some shape. So I'm sure the town would be looking for an easement or something at that point. I know that's not probably within your conversations, but I just, like I say, I've never seen this plan. We've never seen it. And we just want to make sure we kind of know what's going on as we move forward.
Yeah. I don't know. Is Johanna still on?
I believe she is. Johanna, are you on still?
I am, yes.
Do you know anything more to respond to the question about the coordination around the rain garden?
Yeah, I don't have too much information on that. I know that they I don't know if Paul has any insights to this. I know that they just got their soil borings information back, so the weather and the extent of a rain garden in that location will depend upon what the soils are like. And I think we're at the stage of looking at the soils and seeing what would be appropriate there. Um, So I don't think we have any definitive information about the design at this point in time.
Can I ask her? Oh, so if the soils do prove viable to do what you're thinking of doing down there, would that actually require encroachment on our property to do it? In the way the design is right now? Is it gets pretty,
Yeah, I mean, again, the design is still in progress. You know, I think the designers are aware of where the right of way boundaries are.
I can speak to that, Johanna. This is Paul Dacus with Kleinfelder. Yeah, we have not sized any sort of rain garden or anything like that yet. We would not be looking to take private property to do such a project or anything like that. But we're not at that stage yet. Dave, can I just ask what was the property again that you purchased? I didn't know what side of the street it was
it's
on.
Lot 132 and 133 Exeter Street.
Thank you.
the back boundaries are the arborvitae line that kind of wraps around, and then we go all the way up to Glen Cove. It's roughly 21,000 square feet.
Got it. Thank you.
And is it the Glen Cove corner that you're thinking of with the rain garden, or the up on Exeter?
We're planning on building up on the Glen Cove Exeter part,
But
up the high side of
The rain garden.
the rain garden would be down on the lower side,
Emerald Place.
Emerald Place, and
Okay.
once again, it's not going to physically impact us construction wise.
Yep.
The only thing that could come into play is if they are in the need to do anything with easements. This potentially could be a condo building scenario where a condo association would actually own the rest of the land out there. So not trying to put the cart before the horse here, but if it's something that's going to happen as we develop and make our decisions, if this is going to be a condo or just a two-family, it's a small thing, and you balance out what's really thing. But in the market the way it is, a condo situation offers up almost a first-time home buyer, because we're trying to take these things down and stay around 400 with each condo, which is pretty affordable in this crazy market that we all live in. So we just want to make sure that as condo docs are being prepared, if something is going to need easements, and there might be some other ones too that we have to talk to town about, because there is drainage that runs through there that Wilson Mills did what they wanted to do. And fortunately, we've worked really well with the DPW. They've come down, we found things, we traced things, so we know where everything is. But so I guess that's kind of the concern moving forward that I would have with that.
So I think that's actually part of the Emerald Place project. There's 3 different projects going on in like a few 100-foot radius.
Yeah.
There's Ferry Street project, Emerald Place, and this one. So I think what you're talking about is part of the Emerald Place project.
Yes.
And that's probably a discussion to have with DPW.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Back to the RDA.
Any special conditions that we need to apply? I'm going to put in controls, right? So that's kind of built in. It's not a very big area, so.
Can we just reference the future stormwater permit and look for that for any conditions maybe?
Yeah, I think we can do that.
Equitable.
I think this would be a type 3. The work described in the request is within the buffer zone as defined in the regulations, but will not alter an area subject to jurisdiction under the act. Therefore, said work does not require the filing of a notice of intent subject to the following conditions, if any. And we could potentially put just a note in there about the requiring a stormwater permit prior to construction.
Mhm.
And then let the conditions follow from that.
Oh, good. Okay.
At 1 hour,
We got that one.
6:25, okay. What are you prepared to make a motion?
Move to issue a negative termination type 3, with the condition that, a stormwater permit be applied for.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
What's the cause of the reboot? Is that just a thing that just got lucky?
Computer just does that.
We're gonna be lucky
sometimes.
tonight?
Yes.
Okay.
Typically, I remember to check to see if it, I can do it
Can you
ahead
control
of
it?
time.
Can you
I
control
can, no, but I can force it to reboot.
Earlier? Okay,
Exactly,
okay.
yeah, but I did not. That's right.
Monday nights, I guess, one on one stuff. It is good for us.
That's right.
Sometimes it forces us to be quick.
Here.
Oh,
There should be another page.
Should be another, no, it's not.
Hang on, I'm sorry.
Yeah, because usually they're all there.
Oh. So Emma, I'll scan this in after the meeting and email it to you. Scanned copy of I'll scan copy of it to you tomorrow. I'll send it to DP and then I'll mail you the original as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, moving on to request for certificate of compliance. Easthampton Park Solar 1 LLC, 232 Park Street. This is Mass DEP file number 151293.
Okay, so we have an operations and maintenance plan. So the commission recently reviewed this request for a certificate of compliance. And we reviewed a contract that Soltage had with an invasive management company. But realized we didn't quite have all the information we needed because it wasn't an in perpetuity statement. It was a 5-year contract with VHB. So we have received now an operations and maintenance plan, which includes a section about long-term invasives monitoring. And I do believe we also have Drew here to answer any questions, as well as other members of the team. But I'll pull up that section.
Yep. Thanks, Eva. Just for the record, I'm Drew Vardakis. I'm the civil engineer project manager for WSP. We were the engineer of record and permitting team consultant from the inception of the project. So yeah, this document dates back to our original NOI application back in, I believe it was 2018. So what you're seeing now on the screen that Eva's sharing is the track changes and markups to address the invasives that was discussed at the last meeting. And I know we have Howard and Yara on from the Soltage team, and Kendra and Kim, our biologists, were on last time. Kendra's here again tonight. If there's any other questions for the team.
Was there discussion about having the annual report available only upon request rather than provided automatically?
We didn't discuss that last time, but I imagine that could be changed in this.
Yeah, that'd be a question for Howard or Yara. WSP is not that third-party inspector, so I imagine that would be fine. But I can't speak as I am not that inspector.
Hey, this is Howard Gao from Soltage. Can you repeat the request again? I'm sorry.
It's currently written that the annual report on invasive species would be available only upon request by the commission. And I'm wondering about having it provided automatically so that we don't have to bear the responsibility for remembering to ask for it.
Yeah, that should be fine.
Yeah, we can set a date and sorry, good night. I'm Yara from Soltage. Yeah, 100% we can set have the email and set something for the reports. That works for us too. That's fine.
Okay.
So this is really the final copy of the operation and maintenance. Right? Still
It's-
in editing.
Right, that's how it's been presented to me, and this change will have to be made as well. But I
Yep.
do believe we should vote on this with the change expected, if the commission is comfortable doing so.
Yep, you're exactly right, Eva. We provided the markup copy just so you could see the changes, and then wanted to discuss them here tonight. So if anyone's in agreement, then we could just finalize the clean copy.
Does the order or the stormwater permit require that the O&M plan be signed? I think it often does. Go ahead and check on it. We may have to get that before we can vote. Were there other items to be followed up on? I'm sure if I was there, it's been a while since we talked about this.
I believe that was the last remaining thing.
Okay.
I'll have to look back at the original submission. I know our original stormwater report was signed and sealed, and this was part of that. So if this standalone document needs to be signed, we can do that.
Did we ask if they were going to remove it off-site?
If they were what?
Remove it off-site? Or I don't see that in there.
What was the question? To remove, what was the statement? To remove something?
The invasives.
Remove the invasive off-site after they're mechanically removed or mowed or.
Oh, off-site. Again, I think it's a question for the third-party team, but I don't believe that should be an issue. Howard, do you see that as an issue? I would assume that's what they were planning to do in the first place, but we need to clarify with them. I'm sure we can do that.
That may also be specified in the original order. It have to be disposed off site. I think it typically is part of our boilerplate.
So this is the original order.
This is for the NOI though, right? I'm thinking the signed O&M plan may be a condition of the stormwater permit.
Of the stormwater permit.
Yeah, I think that's where it usually is. That sound familiar to you, or am I making this up?
Don't remember.
I feel like we went round and round about this with the school. We had to have a signed O&M plan, right?
I believe that was true. And it was getting the correct signatures. The stormwater report's 202 pages.
A lot of data in there.
What are those conditions?
This is the report. So we're looking for,
I think the
the
conditions
permit.
are what we need, yeah.
Yep. I don't think it's in here.
Yeah, it looks like that's mostly construction related.
Is there an additional document that I should look for?
I don't think so.
Post construction. Others supposed.
Let's search for the word sign. 15 results, 14 of them will be like close to sign. What's your sign?
Maybe if it's any other in attachment B.
Attachment B.
Maybe.
Signs.
I see number 10 says upland location.
It also said off-site.
Right.
My operation with no S. Long, as in long term.
Here we go. Shall submit.
Construction. Where are the in perpetuity conditions? Actually, and go back, I think I saw stormwater.
Stormwater management.
Nope.
Post construction. We already have the as-built. We already have the photo. Needs to be in perpetuity. This was the in perpetuity condition. We were looking for the O&M plan to reflect.
Okay, maybe we don't require a signature then.
Maybe you do now, but this one is. This order was initially
Maybe. I mean, I know we did for the
issued.
school.
Yeah.
Actually, you know, it might be in, can you pull up the stormwater ordinance? I wonder if it's there.
Yep.
Maybe that's where we were looking last time.
I can put that in there for future reference. So it's like instructions. This is the description of what they want in the operations maintenance plan.
Go back to that.
Yeah.
And yeah. It doesn't specifically ask for a signature, but we certainly need to know the name and responsible party. And then do we have all of these other pieces in there, the operation and maintenance log form, budget, etc.?
Yeah, that was all submitted as part of the original NOI way back when.
Are they in the operation and maintenance plan?
Yes, they were included originally. Yes.
I may not have the whole thing, but I'm not seeing them here in the copy I have in the file printed.
Which pieces are you looking for?
The maintenance budget and the log forms.
Oh yeah, that was part of, it was part of the greater PDF. So this was just the Word document that had the text in it. So those attachments probably didn't come through because it was just the Word document here.
This was in the original request for a certificate of compliance back from July.
I believe so. I'm pulling it up here now. Either that or the original NOI application. I imagine we wouldn't have received the order if we didn't have those things.
It doesn't look like the June 20 certificate of compliance application included any operation and maintenance plan.
I have the original O&M plan from November. It's the same document, but there is a log form at the end of it. So when we clean up these edits we're talking about tonight, we can reattach that log form.
Okay, so when that's resubmitted, we'll just need to see that all of these pieces are there and we can check them off. Consistent
Okay.
with the ordinance.
Okay.
Other questions, comments?
So,
What's this? Hmm. This looks like the-
Is that just for easements or that's for? I'm not sure what section you're looking at.
Yeah, we're under. Standards. But I do think this is from before. Before the building permit is issued.
Can you confirm who would have that and make sure that we do have it?
Yep.
Seems like it should have come from us, but I don't remember.
This maintenance agreement should have come from us. Okay.
Seems like it.
Okay. So Drew, send when you have the opportunity to send that completed operations and maintenance plan, that'd be great. And then the commission will take a look at that next meeting.
Yep, we'll incorporate those edits that we talked about. We'll attach the log form, and could you just send me a snippet from that stormwater piece you were looking at, just so we can make sure we have all that. Like I said, that was all submitted back in 2018, so we'll just track down all those pieces, make sure you have all that.
Yep, sounds good. I can send you the section on operations and maintenance.
Perfect.
And then we were just looking at that section on the maintenance agreement, which should have been in place prior to issuing of a building permit. But we're going to confirm whether it was or not, and if not, we'll probably need to get that in place as well.
Okay, even though it's post-construction?
Yeah, it's meant to be a long-term maintenance agreement, so it should have been in place earlier, but if it's not, its intent is to be an in perpetuity thing, so we'll need to make sure it's in place.
Gotcha, okay.
You could, Diane might
Yeah,
know.
I'll check with
as well.
Diane.
Check with her.
Yeah, that's what I have.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Great, thank you. Have a great night.
Sorry, I have a question before we go. So
ahead.
we will have another meeting.
Yes.
Is there any chance, and with all due respect of the committee, I know you are also giving us your time. We're putting time here now every month in the meetings. we come after work. And I just, at this point, I just wish we can have lists that can clarify everything we need to compliance, every single document, every single signature. So we don't need to go through this because it seems like we come and then we think everything is good. And then now it's something else going on. So for me, it would be amazing if we can just have something that clarify everything that we need to reach compliance. It's for us, we come and we're the last in the meeting every meeting. So I at this point, I just wish we can just have everything done and can just, comply. That's our intention, and we're working hard to do it. So I would appreciate if we get that list and clarification of everything we need so we can actually close the compliance.
Understood. The lists that we're looking at are in the ordinance that your permit is issued through. So you can review that as well, and we'll be reviewing it on our side and let you know if there's anything else that was missed along the way.
We do.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, moving on. Anything under enforcement actions?
I have no updates on enforcement actions.
All right. Open space updates?
The only one I have an update for is Borkowski parcel. This was in the ongoing projects update, but I did submit like a pre-filing consultation request with Natural Heritage. You can find that, you could review that, but it's submitted. So great. I have heard back from them and they said they'll be in touch by the 21st with the next step.
Okay.
So I should have a further update for you by the next meeting.
Great, sounds good. Are you planning to meet with them independently, or is NEMBA going to be part of that?
I was going to loop in NEMBA once
Okay.
we had an initial meeting date.
Great, yeah, sounds good. Active projects, which ones do we need to discuss?
The first update I have for you is around Tasty Talk. So at this time, there's no action needed from the commission, but I did just want to give you an update, which is that Frank Demarinis, the developer of the site, issued trespass orders against the 3 consultants for Weston and Sampson, the 3 scientists for Weston and Sampson. So the city is currently figuring out how they want to move forward with this. The attorneys involved, the procurement officers involved. There's been a big conversation, been back and forth with Commissioner Busa about it as well. I did go ahead and take a look on the site today because I know the commission's concern is that Frank is, causing chaos to then be doing something sneakily on the site, and nothing was occurring. No work's being done on the site that I could see. So
Weston and Sampson go out there because they're not.
No, so I did get a chance
Under
to.
contract yet, correct?
Exactly. Yep. So Weston and Sampson's not under contract because we haven't received the amount of funds we need from Frank to begin contracting with Weston and Sampson. So we only received an initial payment of $5,000.
So how can they trespass?
I don't believe they have. I don't believe anyone from Weston and Sampson has yet been out there.
It was more of a don't come onto this property notice. But no work is proceeding.
No work is proceeding on the site.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, then I think keep us updated, and for the moment, just if everybody can just keep an eye on it, and if you're noticing any changes, let us know so that we know if we need to issue a stop work order because they're not currently in compliance with their pre-construction requirements.
Now, the commission's issued a permit, right? So our agent can go on the property.
Yep, as can any of you.
Not that.
And once we have a contract with Weston and Sampson, as can they, per the order of conditions. But prior to the contract with Weston and Sampson, they don't have authority via the order, right, to enter the property.
Yep.
But they have
They're
not.
not getting paid, so they're not interested in going there. Kind of a moot point.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
why would
Yeah.
All right. So that's the only update I have for you on that. The only other open space update I have, or the only other active project I have for you, is Williston, which is the Williston Pond is 3.07 acres.
3, not 12. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. And so did everything get updated in the paperwork appropriately?
Yep, everything was updated in the paperwork. I submitted that order. I issued that order on March 3rd.
Okay.
Great. All went smoothly.
Sounds good. Thank you. That just didn't make any sense.
Yeah,
There's no way that
I'm
could
glad you
well
caught
make
that.
it.
Yeah.
All right, good. Okay, so that's it?
That's it.
All right. Anybody else have updates? Okay, moving on to general business. We're gonna beat that reset clock. Meeting minutes from February 10th. Those ready for discussion and acceptance? Any comments? Have folks reviewed?
I read, they look good.
Anyone care to make a motion to accept?
Did you say February 10th
Yes.
or February 24th?
Oh, I have this wrong on the agenda.
Oh,
Okay,
is it meant to be February 24th? It's February 10th on here. The ones we actually have in front of us are February 24th.
Oh,
Have
okay,
folks read the
okay.
February 24th minutes?
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Any comments, corrections? Interest in accepting?
Motion to accept the February 24th minutes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
I'll accept them. I wasn't here for
you.
You can, if you read it, you
Yeah.
can still accept.
Wetlands ordinance, any updates on that making its way through planning channels?
Yeah, so Allison has been doing a very thorough review of it. And she's been, from what I've seen, she's doing a very tight edit of it, which I think it does really need a new fresh set of eyes, but it hasn't finished her review yet.
Okay.
There were like 2 city councilors that we were thinking about asking to kind of spearhead it, and her Owen is gone.
We don't have Owen at this point.
Coney Denham was the other council we were thinking of.
Sorry, what was her name?
Coney Denham.
And that's my next plan after Allison has had an opportunity to review it, is to begin conversations with it. And also that the rest of the commission will have an opportunity to take a look as well.
And I forget the order of things. Were we going to circulate to the commission before or after the city's solicitor? Before, I think, right?
I think before.
Okay. To get other comments first. All right, so stay tuned. It's still forthcoming. All right, and then Eversource WPA exempt notification for herbicide application.
Yep, we received that in the mail. I'll pull up the map.
Is this the one that's right out by the river?
Yep, this is the one that's right out by the river. So the yellow line is their right of way. Only a little section of it is in Easthampton. And we have their full herbicide along power line notification.
And this is the same 5-year plan that was in effect last year, right? We've seen this already.
Yes.
Yeah. Any other questions? Good. All right. Any other general business?
The only other general business I have is I did discuss the Florence Street, Ballard Road, Ballard Street stream, and I went out there and took a look. Yep, and I talked to Clay at DPW and wrote a memo. Did I send that? I think I did send that to you all in the Monday email. I didn't know that. But the long and the short of it is that work to maintain a sewer line is only exempt if it's within the easement. Mark Simpson agreed with that. This work is like far outside of the easement.
Okay.
From my sense of what the Wetlands Protection Act says, and in conversations with Mark, they would issue an emergency order you would issue an emergency order if they needed to go in and fix a leak in the sewer line, but you don't you can't preemptively clear or affect a street,
Okay.
for that, so.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
Without a notice of intent.
Without a notice of intent. Yep. And that's why they can mow their easement in Whitebrook, because they're actually on top of the easement there versus 40 feet away from the easement.
Yeah. Okay.
So
The activities that had been happening on a semi-annual basis were a courtesy to the neighbors. It sounds like maybe helpful of sewer maintenance, but not allowable under the WPA. And so you let Clay know that that can't continue.
Yeah.
In the future.
exactly.
Okay.
Yep. He was receptive to that, and I did, as a courtesy, call the resident who originally reported it, and let her know. And I thought she may come tonight, but seems she didn't.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Sounds good.
Jay, were you on the board when we did a site visit out there, like forever ago?
Yeah,
Okay,
probably.
yeah. You remember? I
It
mean,
was not enough detail to.
yeah. I just remember going and meet with residents and walking some backyards or something.
Yeah, and I took a look at it from the culvert, where it crosses Ballard Street. And it's definitely in the correspondences from 2000 and minutes, it's described a couple different ways, like a swale and such. It's distinctly a stream, with BVW surrounding it, full of phragmites, but
Oh,
it's a stream and BVW nonetheless. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. And the only other general business I have is the garden committee is back meeting, and I plan to go to their April meeting. And yeah, we have regular contact again for Commissioner Butcher
Excellent.
request.
Excellent.
Great.
Sounds good. And speaking of garden, is there anything, what is the timeline? I'm jumping back a bit, but what is the timeline for the next Echo Dale steps? Is it coming up soon now that it's starting to be spring, or is it still a ways off? I can't remember.
I believe it's coming up soon. I feel like Chris has been a little bit vague in his timelines periodically, but I talked to him at MACC.
Okay. Oh, he was there.
He was there, yeah. And he was like, I'll be in contact when I'm planning on coming out. It'd be great to have a meeting out on the site and really like talk it through. So I'll be sure to communicate that with the commission.
Herbicide like in February?
Yeah, he talked about doing a cut stem
that's
down.
right.
treatment.
Okay.
We just thought it was a little early, but
Yeah. But we did ultimately determine, we looked into that, and I think we discussed it at a meeting that you weren't there, Commissioner, who said that at least Penn State Extension says that it's fine to do cut stem treatments.
just seemed early to us, but
Yeah.
we'll go by their recommendation.
But I'm not sure if he actually has done that.
Okay.
But that could happen this.
Sometime in the near future.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. To make a motion to adjourn.
Usually.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
It is 7:03 and we are concluding the March 10th meeting of the Easthampton Conservation Commission.
Nice.
Our next meeting will be March 24th at 6 p.m.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.